Good morning. Are we live? Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Jubilee's virtual career fair. Can everyone see me? Can everyone hear me? Oh, yes, I see that we're live. Okay, good. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Jubilee's Jubilee Christian Church, Chapel of Victory in Durham, North Carolina. Welcome to our virtual career fair today, Saturday, October the 17th, 2020. We are going to share some wonderful ideas and thoughts with each other today. How do we move forward in our career? How do we build our career? How do we stay in our careers? How do we make moves? How do we affect the world positively? We thank God for this great opportunity to have this kind of discussion today, particularly in a time like this. We want to welcome everyone to this program today. This program is being hosted under the leadership of Pastor BC and Pastor Toyi Tofade, Pastor Doctor, actually, both of them, Pastor Dr. Toyi and Pastor Dr. BC Tofade as well. Both of them, the senior pastors of Jubilee Christian Church, Chapel of Victory. We welcome everybody. My name is Buki Okonkwo, Adikemi Okonkwo. As you may know me, for those who do know me, I am also a member here of Jubilee Christian Church, Chapel of Victory. And we have a number of panelists that are going to be joining us today, all from within the area actually, and all of them are going to be subject matter experts in their areas. We're glad to have all of them. I will be introducing them shortly. I do want us to, before we go into the program today, I would like for us to, first things first, I would like for us to share this program with your family and friends. I'm sure a lot of people can benefit from this information. A lot of people are looking to change their career at this time. Some are looking for ways to maybe move up in their careers, in their professions. With the change in times, it might be a good time to maybe reevaluate where you are. See, am I in the right place? Where are the new jobs? Where are things shifting? Where may I be needed? Where would my expertise be needed over the next 5-10 years? Because you know that the world is changing. If 2020 has taught us anything, that is what it has taught us, that nothing remains still, nothing remains stagnant. We have to remain relevant, don't we? And we have to be leaders wherever the Lord has placed us. So welcome. First things first, secondly, I would like to employ everyone to please get a pen and paper. A lot of information is going to be disseminated today. We want to make sure that you have your pen and paper. I also want to invite you to please invite your children to also join in this great activity today. We have our children in school. Why are they in school? They also are going to have a career in future. So we would like for them to also see these great panelists that we're going to have here today, encourage them, inspire them so they would know what to look forward to in the future. So without much ado, let me see if we have all of our panelists. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I do see them. Welcome. I think we may be waiting on a couple more people. Another housekeeping, please. As you're getting the information today, please start to write down your questions. There's going to be a question and answer session towards the end of the event where you'll have an opportunity to ask questions, either general questions about career, either general questions about the topics, the areas that we're going to cover today. But we'll have the answers for you today, okay? I will go ahead. I don't have all of the panelists now yet, but I will go ahead and let you know which areas we're going to be covering today. We're going to be covering leadership. We're going to be discussing leadership today. We're going to be discussing tools for keeping your jobs, networking, and how to be successful in interviewing skills, basically. We're also going to be talking about a career in IT or cybersecurity, data analytics, transportation and logistics, healthcare and biotechnology. Why have we selected these areas? Because we have noticed when we, took stock of what is going on in the world, these are like the high trend, popular trend areas in terms of careers that are in high demand at this time. And so we are very blessed and very honored. We have people who are going to be speaking to us in these areas today. All right, so I think I'll go ahead and I'll start with the introduction of the panelists. Our panelists here today, they are very well-versed in their particular areas. I'm really honored. I was reading the bios today, and actually we're blessed to actually have them in our midst. I'm going to start quickly and just get this out of the way. We have, first and foremost, we have our host for today. He's going to be speaking with us. It's Dr. Bisi Tofade. And I'm going to just quickly read his bio to us. It says that Dr. Alfred Bisi Tofade is a faith leader. He's a mentor, he's an instructor, and he's a public speaker. He is the founder and president of Jubilee Acts of Kindness, a nonprofit based in Durham, North Carolina. He is a gifted teacher and a dynamic speaker. Dr. Tofade is highly skilled, he's effective, and he's a well sought after leadership development tutor and a mentor in the USA. He's an author and he's a dynamic speaker. He is currently a visiting professor to 2 universities in Nigeria, where he teaches executive leadership, courses for senior level executives in government and private sectors, as well as undergraduate courses in leadership. Dr. Tofade is a certified coach and speaker with John Maxwell team and has written courses and manuals for company executives, high and mid-range managers in the corporate world. Dr. Tofade, welcome. We welcome you today. He's going to be speaking to us about leadership. Let's a round of applause wherever you are for Dr. Tofade.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome, sir. And then we also have with us the lovely wife of Pastor Bisi, who is also very accomplished in her own right. This is Dr. Toyin Tofade. Please welcome her to our midst. She's going to be one of our panelists as well. Dr. Toyin Tofade is a professor of pharmacy. She's a higher education administrator. She's a dean of college of pharmacy at Howard University, and a certified professional coactive coach. She is a dynamic teacher. She's a leader and she's a mentor. She is a woman of the word and possesses godly character and wisdom. Yes, she does. Her life serves as an inspiration to many individuals. She is also the founder of Global Women Leaders, a nonprofit organization that focuses on inspiring and training women to lead in these end times. She focuses on end time living. Yes, she does. Dr. Toyin Tofade received a bachelor's of pharmacy from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife in Nigeria. She has a master's degree in pharmacy practice and a doctor of pharmacy, PharmD degree from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in 1994 and 1997, respectively. Let's give a big warm round of applause for Dr. Toyin Tofade, please. Thank you. She's going to be speaking. She's going to be moderating our Q&A session later on in the program. Quickly,
Thank you for having me.
Yes, yes, yes. Welcome. Next, I'm going to moving on to the lovely, very intelligent, brilliant Mrs. Onyade Adefuye, who is in our midst. Wave to the audience. Okay, Onyade is a senior program manager in the biotech and pharmaceutical space, who is passionate about helping people advance in their careers. She keeps it short and simple, but this woman, she is a firecracker. Wave, wave, wave. Let's big a round of applause for Ms. Adefuye there. And next, she's going to be speaking to us about the networking skills. She's going to be covering that, how to advance in your career, how to get a job, and how to keep your job. She's going to be speaking to us about that. Now, we're going to be having someone speak to us in the area of data science and analytics, and this is going to be in the person of Professor Dr. Akonde. Olanrewaju Michael Akonde is an assistant professor. He's in the Social Science Research Institute and of Statistical Science at Duke University. He is a faculty member in the Master's in Interdisciplinary Data Science program at Duke. And Dr. Akonde completed his PhD in statistical science and an MS in statistical and economic modeling at Duke. Prior to Duke, he worked at KPMG Nigeria and completed his BSc in mathematics and statistics at the University of Lagos, Nigeria. So do we have Dr. Akonde? Dr. Akonde, welcome to the program. Welcome to the program. We thank you, sir. And next we're going to have, he is going to be speaking to us in the area of transportation and logistics. And if I tell you this man is well-versed in this area, I tell you this man is indeed well-versed in this area. This is in the person of Mr. Vincent Onwainopo. Mr. Vincent Onwainopo, please welcome him to the program today. He is the owner and he's the sole proprietor of Van Transportation and Logitech LLC, Van Transportation and Logitech LLC. He has been in this transportation business for over 17 years, specifically supply chain logistics and transportation. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so thank you. And then moving on, lastly, I'm going to read, he's going to be speaking to us in the healthcare and biotech area. It's going to be Dr. David Olaleye. Dr. David Olaleye currently works as a principal research statistician at SAS Institute in Cary, North Carolina. He received his postgraduate training in statistics, demography, and clinical epidemiology from the University of Pennsylvania School of Arts and Sciences and School of Medicine in Philadelphia. David is an experienced biostatistician and skilled in the analysis of large observational research databases and delivering peer-reviewed statistical models for comparative effectiveness and health outcomes research studies. What a mouthful. David is an avid learner. He's an industry collaborator. He's an influencer. He's an active participant and contributor within the academic and research community. He's proud to say that he is married to Fola and he's blessed with 3 wonderful daughters. They are members of Jubilee Christian Church Chapel of Victory International. So big round of applause for all of our panelists today. Whoa, that was a mouthful. We are in the presence of people who will share very, very valuable information with us today. And we're very grateful. We thank you for being in our midst. Jubilee Christian Church Chapel of Victory welcomes you all. Without further ado, I'm going to now turn this over to Dr. Pastor Bisi Tofade, who is going to be speaking to us about leadership. Turn it over to you, sir. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much, Sister Buki Okonko. Thank you for your moderation and introduction. Thank you so much. Wherever you are today, everyone, welcome and thank you for joining us. My role here is going to be very short. I'm not going to be here for long, but I wanted to share some thoughts with everyone, professional in particular, some thought about leadership and how it affects our attitude. I call it a winning attitude. Whatever it is you do for living, whether you are in the private sector or you're in public sector, or you are working for someone, you're working in a company, I just wanted to share this short presentation with you all. It's about winning. We want to win, but winning is impossible if the attitude is wrong. See, if you're a leader, you're leading an organization, you also have attitude. And do you know that people that follow you, they can smell your attitude, they can sense your attitude. If you're finding it difficult for people to follow you, could it be you too as a leader, you are sending a wrong attitude to them? You know, it's easy to be a boss, and a boss that is proud, a boss that is full of themselves, you know. And so as we look at this topic, it's quite interesting. And a lot of people say, well, I don't know why they are persecuting me on the job. I don't know why they hate me, why I am not getting the promotion I want. Could it be something that has to do with your attitude? Someone says your attitude is smelling a lot. See, sometimes after you got the job, people are not just even looking at how good you are on the job. The other factor that also overshadow your skill, it is your attitude. So this attitude thing we're talking about is for everyone, whether you are a follower, you are a subordinate, you are a colleague, you are a boss. It is all about it. So what is it that really make attitude very important? In this little short material, I have just few minutes, and I'm going to just run briefly over them. What makes it so important? Why is attitude so critical? See, this slide says, attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. Attitude is a little thing, something insignificant, something you may not even notice that others see in you. See, success or failure, attitude can decide. So in a nutshell, let's look at first part I wanted to look at is happiness and attitude. A lot of time people wonder why they are not happy on the job. See, there have been a study that shows that there is a significant relationship between happiness and attitude. When people are generally happy, they tend to display good attitude. I'm sure you all can relate with that. When people are happy, their attitude on the job will be happy. When people are happy, they display good attitude. And when people are not unhappy on their job, that also gives them an attitude. And they often display rotten attitude. So if you can say this way, that therefore you need to choose a job you love. And some Confucius says, when you choose a job you love, you will never have to work a day in your life. So your happiness and your attitude, they are related together. So if you go to a job where you are unhappy, I can tell you, you'll be displaying some rotten attitude. See, work gives us most of our identity. We take a long hours on on working day, on a normal day, we spend hours on a job. So it is important, therefore, that our attitude on that job be good. Maybe you are trying to go for an interview today, you are working an interview, you're planning an interview. Do you know that you could lose the interview just by the attitude you display? You may not notice it, but people could sense it, that you have attitude. So I want to say to you today that happiness and attitude, they are related on the job. And so whatever you are doing, part of what we're going to go over today, if you have a job, you want to keep your job, one of the things that will help you to keep your job is to maintain a good attitude. But what if you are not happy on the job? See, so today, if you are not happy on your job, there could be the reasons for it. You have a wrong job, you have wrong pay, they are not paying you good pay, you have long hours, you have bad people on the job, nasty colleagues, mean boss, difficult client and customers. All of these can make you an unhappy person on the job. And so when you think about that, you are going to have a problem maintaining that job if you don't change your attitude. Someone says aptitude versus attitude. Which one is more important in a new hire? Think about the picture in front of you. There are 4 people looking for a job, but you could see one man that was so excited about the job. You could see his attitude. He put attitude to it. So that's why it says attitude beats aptitude. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, as you do what you do in your company or you are looking for a job, it doesn't matter what it is, I want to present to you that attitude matters. Attitude is important. In fact, beyond the skill that you have, your attitude is what people, they see it a lot. Because of time, just going to make it this easy. So look at this balance. If you want to balance this scale, say, look at it. You could put your skill, your knowledge, your experience, your education on one side of the equation, looking at that, at this picture here, and then you put your attitude on the other. See, everything else, attitude matters. Attitude can display everything else. Your skill, your knowledge, your experience, your education, you could ruin it with a bad attitude. So may not be your accent, it may not be the color of your skin that is the problem. It may just be your attitude. So in terms of balancing this scale, everyone therefore needs to look at it. Whether you're a leader on the job, you also need to check your attitude as you enter into the company. How is your attitude coming across to the people following you? If you are working in that company, how is your attitude coming to the boss? How does the boss see you? Attitude matters. So 4 things you need to do to be successful in your career, in your business, in whatever you do. There are 4 things right there. Number 1, I call it personality. Your personality. Are you smart? Are you dull? Are you cheerful? Are you slow? Are you resilient? Are you a quitter? See, what you are made of is what people see that. People notice that. They sense that. Number 2 thing that will make you successful is your preparation, your appearance, your skill. Are you improving on yourself? Are you acquiring knowledge that will make you work relevant on the job? Someone's going to talk to us about that in detail today. So that is called your aptitude. That's your diligence. Are you diligent on the business? Then number 3 is your attitude. Are you a quick learner? Are you teachable? Are you grumbling? Are you complaining? See, are you motivated? Are you positive? See, the scripture says, you see a man that is diligent in his business. He says, he shall stand before kings. What does that mean? When you see his attitude, he's a quick learner, he's teachable, he does not grumble, he doesn't complain, he's motivated, he doesn't wait for anyone to ask him to do X, Y, Z, he does it. If you're going to succeed in your leadership, in the environment, on the job, you need to master these 4 things. And number 4 is the environment. Negative work environment are poisonous, and they can create problem, especially if you do not know how to manage it. If your environment is negative, if your environment is toxic, I tell you, it will ruin everything else you do. All right, I'm going to skip because of our time. Let's just move briefly. I just wanted to focus more on this attitude. Your attitude, not your aptitude, determines your altitude. That was Zig Ziglar. So he says attitude matters a lot. In customer service, it is all about attitude. People may hear your words, but they feel your attitude. That's what John Maxwell said. They hear what you're saying, but they feel your attitude. Look at that customer service. If you're going to spell customer service, say customer friendly, support, innovative, being positive, being precise, and being timely. If you wrap all of them together, it is all wrapped on your attitude. So the bottom line in this discussion today is what makes people to excel in their job, in their leadership style, in their profession, in whatever they do. Number 1, there may be ambition. Number 2, there may be skill, but the rest is attitude. See, attitude towards the company, attitude towards the people, attitude towards when people even demand on you your time, your energy. Do you know you can step out and you can stand out on the company? As I close this section, may I say to you and submit to you, check your attitude as you go to the job, because your attitude speaks volume. In everything we do as leader, as follower, your attitude goes with you. Your attitude follow you right from birth. It follow you to your adult life. So attitude can be changed. And there are people on the job who you work with and they have rotten attitude. The question is, how do I handle such people? There are things you can do to handle them. There are things you must not display when it comes to your customers, your client, your boss, and people around you. See, people are yelling, they are cussing out, they are not competent, all of that thing. Your attitude can help you. And so as I close this, I won't have time to present the old materials to you. That could be done another time, another day. But here to say, and suffice to say, your attitude is key in life. If you're a businessman, you work for yourself, yes, I own my company, I do whatever I want to do, then you won't have a lot of customers because your customers also checking your attitude. So your attitude matters. So maybe you say, well, I'm the boss and nobody can fire me. Yeah, but you may not be getting results because the people that are following you, they're also smelling your attitude. So it doesn't matter anyone, even in the Christendom, in the church. I'm a spiritual leader. I'm a faith leader. My attitude matters too. If people are going to be listening to what I'm saying, I better display a nice attitude. Otherwise, I will have nobody following me. There are people who are leading today. They have no follower because their attitude will repel people. The question is, do you have the right attitude? So looking for a job today, I'll close with that. If you're looking for a job, go to that job with good attitude, smiley face, ready. Say they ask you, if we give you 12 hours, will you be willing? Instead of frowning your face, no, I'm not thinking of, oh yes, I'll be delighted. I will look into that. You know, when they say, it may be a test. You see, it may not actually be, they're just checking you out. What your attitude look like. Yeah, you have certificate. Yes, you have the qualifications, but they look at it, this person, it won't be a good fit because you could sense his attitude. He's arrogant, he's full of himself, he talks loud, you know, you could see subordination in him. All of that, they all matter. So thank you for listening today. And as we continue in this, let's remember, attitude matters. Thank you. Over to our moderator.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Okay, host, can you release my video? Can you guys see me now? Awesome. Welcome. Thank you so much, Dr. Tofade, for that wonderful word. Honestly, you know that when you have Dr. BC in the house, you know he's going to bring it to you very strong. He's going to be very diligent about the message. So as they always tell us, they said that your attitude is going to determine your altitude in life, isn't it? And this is very important even for the young ones around us. I really want us to listen to this and to take this to heart. It's never too early to learn these skills. Your attitude is definitely going to determine your altitude wherever you are. What are your teachers saying about you? If in the future, someone has to go back to your teachers in school, who knows where you're going to be in life, right? What are people going to say about you if they have to go and ask, what kind of student was this person? If they have to ask people you're playing sports with, how is this person as a team player? You see, if they ask in the church, if they ask in your place of worship, wherever you worship or whatever organization you belong to, how has this person served? How has this person delivered in whatever capacity they have put you? What is going to be said about you? That is going to be your attitude. Are you a grumbler? Are you somebody who is a self-starter? Do you come to the place motivated? Do you motivate everyone around you? Or do you just basically suck the energy out of the room? That is the attitude that we're talking about today. So it's very important for the young ones, even for the young ones just going into the workforce, for those who are in college. Let's start to check our attitude. Attitude starts with a smile on your face. I'm sure Ms. Adefuye is going to go into more detail about this. Again, just a big round of applause. Thank you again, Dr. Tofade. Without further ado, I'm going to move on to talk about tools for keeping your jobs and networking and interviews. And that is going to be covered by the very able and capable Mrs. Adefuye. Turn it over to you. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. If you're watching, then you probably fall in one of these three categories. You're either, in the process of trying to find a job, with everything going on right now, I recognize that a lot of people are in this category, with COVID-19, storming the world this year. So many people have lost their jobs. So many industries are suffering. And, so you're probably in the process of trying to find a new job. So that's one category of people that I'm going to be speaking to today. Another category of people that I'm speaking to are people who are currently employed, but want to make sure that they're able to keep their jobs. Again, this year has come with a lot of surprises, and, everybody, a lot of people are on edge. You don't know if you might lose your job tomorrow. Hopefully not, but, it is. There's so much uncertainty right now. And so, you need to be able to have like Pastor said, have the right attitude and, have the right tools to ensure that you're able to keep your job during these times. And then the last set of people that I would like to speak to today are those who are seeking career advancement. So you're currently in a role, but you know that you have goals. You're trying to move ahead in your career. You have big plans, and I want to speak to you today. I'm still in the process of getting where I would like to be, but I do feel like, throughout my career, I have been very intentional about trying to acquire these tools, and I have also experienced, trying to find a job, trying to keep my job. I've been in all of these categories, and I currently am still in some of these categories. So I feel like I do have the ability and what it takes to be able to speak to you today. All right, so I'm going to start with those people who are seeking jobs. I know that this is a very tough place to be, a very tough space to be, because it likely means that you're unemployed at the moment, or you're not doing something, you're not in a role that you feel like, you should be, and you feel like you should be doing something else, or you should have a different job. And I want to tell you that it's very easy, with everything going on, a lot of people feel like, I should just take whatever is out there, whatever opportunity presents itself, that's what I should get. But I want to make sure that regardless of where you are, regardless of the skill sets that you have, regardless of the education that you have, the first thing that I think is so important when you're trying to find a job is know what you want. Now, that does not mean that, with everything going on, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get that the role that you actually want is open, or that there are opportunities there, but you still have to have a goal. You have to have a vision. In this time, during these times, and other people are going to speak about the trends in the job market right now and the opportunities that are available, but you do have to have a focus. Even if it's not your ideal job, you still need to determine what is it that in this season of my life, or right now, I want to do. It might be a short-term opportunity. It might not be, what you want to do forever. But right now, looking at my situation, looking at where I am right now, what is it that I want to do? Because you might be that person who has so much experience. You can be that person who is overqualified for the job, but somebody else, because they are focused, because they come in knowing exactly what they want to do, chances are that person is going to get that job, even if you're better suited for the job, because that person knows exactly what they want, and they're going to prepare themselves for that role and for that position. So I would say, make sure that you know exactly what you want. And it's so important to be focused, right? Because when you're focused, then it will help you when you're updating your resume. And I always tell people, there are a lot of, advice. There's a lot of advice on the internet, or, just generally right now about how to write your resume. And I'm not going to tell you what to put in your resume, but I will tell you this: when you're focused, you can actually update your resume to reflect what you want to do. Now, I'll give you an example. When I worked in bioengineering, so I worked in the bioengineering space for 5.5 years, and prior to that, I had been in the lab, and I knew that I wanted to transition to program management. Now, most of my experience had been in the lab. It had been leading those who were in the lab, but I did not have direct project management experience. But guess what? There were things that I had done in my role that a project manager would be doing. And what I did was, when I decided that I wanted to transition out of science, and I still work in the science space, I still work in biotech and pharma, but when I decided that I wanted to leave working in the lab, and I did not want people to look at my resume and see somebody who would be a lab supervisor or a manager, or somebody growing in that space. I wanted people to see me as a project manager or program manager. I then looked at my skill set, I looked at my experience and thought, what are those things that I have acquired? What are those things that I have learned throughout my career that make me feel like I am suited for a project manager position? And that's what when I was updating my resume, I started pulling those things. So when people saw my resume, they did not necessarily, they saw that I had experience in the biotech space because I had, years of experience there. But what they also saw was this person can be or is a project manager. So when you have that focus, when you reflect it and you have a vision, you're able to pull things out of your life, pull things out of your experience that you can then use as a guide to update your resume. So even if you don't have extensive experience there, you need to be, I'm sure there are things that you have done. And one of the things that I would say back then was I would go and I would look at job descriptions. So I would go and look at job to look like what are those skills that they are requiring here. And I started to look at the experience that I had, and I would pull and I would say, well, I don't have this, but I have this instead. And because I have this, I think that I should be able to do, the job. So what you can do is you look at those job descriptions that are on the internet, they're everywhere. Even before applying, go online. I actually made a PowerPoint presentation, and I would look at different job descriptions, and I would see the main things that these project manager positions in the biotech space were asking for, and I would go and put beside each job description, what are the things that I have done that make me suited for this? And then when you do that, then you need to be able to sell yourself. You cannot sell yourself to anybody else until you're able to sell yourself to yourself. So I knew that I was able to do this. When I looked at that, I thought, you know what, I can absolutely do this. And then I started being able to sell myself to myself. I started being able to say, I know that I don't have the years of experience here, but I know that because I've done this, I know that I'm strong at this. I know that I'm able to do that. So you need to be able to sell yourself to yourself, because especially at a time like this, it will be so important when you're looking for a job. It will be so important for you to be able to sell yourself to somebody else. I remember when, and I want to keep giving examples because I want you to understand that this is my life. This is true for me. When I was trying to find a job, I remember I would find job description, and I'll give you a true story, right? So I had decided I was trying to get a new job. I was ready for this. And then I did my whole, what is it that they're asking for? Why do I feel like I qualify for this? I know that they're asking for 10 years of experience here, and I have 0, but I know that I can do this. So then I did the exercise. I found out the things that they were requesting. And then what I did was I then knew within myself that I can do this. And then I called the recruiter and I said, hey, can we talk about this opportunity? And he said, well, I don't have anything for you right now, but we can have a conversation. That is where networking comes in. When you're confident in who you are, you know that you can walk into any room and sell yourself. So I went to this recruiter and I said, hey, can we have a conversation about this? And he said, well, I don't have anything for you, but, we can have a conversation. So we had a conversation, and then he said, okay. And then later, the next day, he sent me a message and he said, I would like you to talk to my colleague and just have a conversation with him. His coworker calls me and says, well, I don't have anything for you, but, we can have a conversation because this other person asked me to talk to you, but I know that I don't have anything for you. We had a conversation, and then right after we got off the phone, I get an email from him, and he says, hey, go ahead and look at this job description. It was asking for 10 years of experience. It was asking for an MBA. It had all of these requirements. And he said, don't worry about the years of experience. Just let me know if this is something that you're interested in. I did not have the experience, but because I had done my homework, because I was confident and I knew exactly what I wanted to do, because I had updated my resume to show that I had the tools that were required, I got that job. And in fact, when I got to my interview, I was told, oh, we might actually, because you're applying for a program manager position, but then we have some coordinator positions. We feel like, based off of your experience, we might consider hiring you for that. But at the end of the day, they did not. They hired me for a program manager position, which I was with other people who had many, many more years of experience. I was the youngest on my team. But again, it was because I had done my homework. It was because I knew exactly what I could do. And I was able to sell myself to this recruiter who sold me to another recruiter recruiter who then sold me to the hiring manager and then gave me the opportunity to interview. So that is so important. And then when you're interviewing, you need to make sure that you're confident. You need to look professional. You need to be personable. Nobody wants to have on their team people who they cannot relate to, because you spend most of your time at work, you spend most of your time with your team members. You need to have a personality. You know, you need to go in and let them feel like, you know, don't tell them all of your business, but they need to know that you're human. And because, you know, you also recognize that they're human too. And then one of the things that is so important to ask at every interview, when you're interviewing for a position, towards the end of the interview, one question that I always make sure that I ask at the end of the interview is, what are your concerns? Because when you think about it, at every interview, they're going to be thinking, I'm not really sure about this person because I don't know if this person has this, or I don't know, this other person said this and that person might be better suited. But for the most part, they're never going to ask you those questions, right? But if you ask them at the end of the interview, what are some of your concerns about me? What are some of the concerns that you have when it comes to me being part of this company or me getting this role? That is the time where they will likely express to you what their concerns are. And that is your opportunity to say, oh, wait a second, let me tell you, don't say it like that. But, that is your opportunity to really sell yourself and say, you know what, I know that these are your concerns, but let me tell you why you shouldn't be concerned about this. Or you tell them, oh, I apologize, I did not mention this, but I actually have experience in this. But that is your time to sell yourself. I remember one of the things that was said to me was, oh, you don't have the experience. And I said, give me a chance. I know that I can do it. I'm a hard worker. And then you sell yourself in other ways. Or I remember more recently, I changed the job after being at another job for less than a year. And they actually said, our concern with you is, you haven't been at your current job for up to a year and you're interested in moving. And I told them, I said, I knew that at the end of the day, this was going to come up. I knew that there were going to be concerns about this, but I had to make a decision. I know my strengths. I know that I'm ready for something long-term. But I had to make a choice. Am I going to stay at a job that I'm ready to leave just because I'm worried that people are going to think I'm a job hopper? Or am I going to make the right move for my career and hope that somebody is going to see the value that I bring and feel comfortable about bringing me on? So when you ask those questions, you're able to have those conversations. So it is so important. And then also make sure that you pray before your interview. So that's obviously very important. I hope I don't need to say that, but it's so important because, your steps are going to be ordered. So I think that is even the first thing, even before you get into this process, because it helps keep you at peace. If there are times where you're not getting jobs, you still are at peace at the end of the day. So that is very important. And then at the end of the interview, make sure that you send a follow-up email, thanking them, re-emphasize anything that you felt like you might not have gotten the opportunity to say, anything that you felt like they might have concerns about. That is your opportunity to say, hey, I know that, we talked about this, but I just want to reemphasize that I am X, Y, and Z. So that is your opportunity to do that. So it's so important. Make sure that you are following these steps. But again, it starts with you knowing what you want to do. It doesn't have to be your long-term goal, but in whatever season that you're in, know what you want to do so that you can work and walk in that direction. So that is about, people who are trying to find a job. Now, if you're trying to stay in your current role, you're trying to make sure that you're able to keep your job. Pastor talked about the most important thing, have the right attitude. And I think that is so important. When you have the right attitude, it helps you go to work every day. It helps you stay focused. If you're one of those people who everything gets on your nerves, everything is upsetting you, you're going to have a problem. So it's so important to have the right attitude every day. When you go into the office, if you're working virtually, have the right attitude about everything. And I think also having the right attitude comes with being grateful, right? You need to be grateful. Thank God, thank you, God, for this opportunity that I have. And when you are grateful, when you know that the job that you had is a blessing, then it helps give you the right attitude to succeed in your role. So you need to have that right attitude. You need to work hard. Work hard. The other day, one of my friends sent me a devotional. It said, it talked about how Daniel distinguished himself. It didn't say God distinguished Daniel. It said Daniel distinguished himself. Daniel distinguished himself by the attitude he had. He distinguished himself by the things that he did. He had to do that for himself. So, yes, God will give you skills and talents and all of those things, right? But it's up to you to come out and show those things. It's up to you to show people that I'm different from everybody else here. I'm set apart. I'm distinguished. So you need to set yourself apart. You need to know the value that you bring in and work and walk in that, in that value. So very, very important that you're distinguishing yourself wherever you go. That is very important. And then you have to be passionate. Nobody wants to work with, and I think that comes with the attitude, right? You have to be passionate about the work that you're doing. If you're not passionate about it, Pastor talked about the environment that you're in, then maybe you need to ask yourself, is this really where I want to be? Do I really need to be part of the other set of people who are looking? But still, at the end of the day, you need to be passionate about the work that you're doing. You need to show that passion. You need to be able to connect with people, connect with your team members, connect with your boss. Make sure that you have built a good relationship with those people who are in leadership positions. You might not agree that your boss is the best boss. You might not think that they are the best suited person for that role, but guess what? They are in a leadership role. So it's your responsibility to respect that leadership title that has been given to them, whether you agree with it or not. So it's so important that if somebody has been put in a leadership position, you respect that, even if you don't agree with it, because that will help you be able to maintain your job. Also, make sure that you honor your commitment. If you say, I'm going to get this done by X day, make sure that you're getting it done. Make sure that you're doing those things. And one thing that's also very important, this is something that I'm actually talking about because of an experience that I had recently. This member of my team, he's working on one of my projects, and he's extremely smart, has all of the solutions for everything. But I remember, this was recently, and I remember he had sent me a message, and that, he was able to solve a problem that the whole company, was dealing with, and, he was going to be a superstar. He actually told me I'm going to be a superstar. And it was, I was expecting, and so I was like, oh, can you share some of the things that you found? But he did not want to share with anybody. He said, I don't want anybody to steal my idea. He did not want to share anything with anybody. He didn't want to share the slides prior. He was just keeping everything to himself. So even though this person was so smart, or is so smart, his attitude, the fact that he wasn't willing to work well with the team, that served as a disservice to him, because at the end of the day, now people are looking at him, and I don't necessarily think, he will last in that organization. So that's another thing to think about, just making sure, how are you working with other people? Are you a team player? So important. Last thing that I want to talk about is growing. What are you growing in your career, advancing? What are your goals? If you have goals, if you have big goals of where you want to be sometime in the future, big goals, 5-year plans, 10-year plans, you need to first of all be self-aware, know exactly what it is you want to do. And I'm going to go very quickly because I'm running out of time. You need to have a mentor, a mentor and a sponsor. Now, people are going to ask me, what is the difference between a mentor and a sponsor? A mentor is somebody who is where you want to be, right? If you want to be a director, this is somebody who has walked that path. And then, you talk to that person, and that person guides you based off of their experience, their mistakes, their successes. They can help guide you. Now, a sponsor is, on the other hand, is somebody who, when that person might not be doing anything that you're doing, but when that person walks into a room and says, hey, give Oyade this job, everybody knows that Oyade is getting that job. So you want somebody like that who's an advocate. And I think a lot of us pray to God and say, God, even when I'm not in the room, have somebody there speaking on my behalf or advocating for me. A sponsor is you intentionally finding that person. Now, it might not be that person, because God at the end of the day decides who is going to speak for you, and might not necessarily be who you expect.
Hello, Sam.
It's so important. It's so important to have that. And then make sure that you're putting yourself out there. Put yourself out there. Join organizations, join teams. Just make sure that you're part of something that, where people can see you. Acquire skills. Make sure that you're constantly growing. Look at the profiles of people who are where you want to be and acquire the skills that they got. Follow on their path. LinkedIn is a great resource. I know that we're out of time for my session, but review the profiles of people who are where you want to be and make sure that you're following in their footsteps. All right, we're out of time, so I'm going to stop now, but I just want to say thank you for the opportunity, and I will wrap up here. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Can you hear me? I don't think you can see me yet because I think my video has been blocked, but I think, okay, there I am. Well, so did I tell you that she is a firecracker, or is she a firecracker? If you did, that's why I told you in the beginning, I said, make sure you have your notes. Make sure you have a pen and a paper, because a lot of information is going to be disseminated today. And if you don't have your paper and your pen, you're going to miss a whole lot. I'm telling you, this is, I feel as if I'm at, it's a huge corporate event where I went to a leadership class. That's how I feel where I am right now. And we're just getting this for free from, these wonderful experts in their area for professional development. Thank you so much, Ms. Adefuye. We're running out of time. We're not running out of time, but we're kind of running behind. So I'm going to implore the next speaker and the other speakers that are going to be coming on to please stick to your time. I know we discussed this already before we started. So, the allotment that you have, you may not be able to cover everything that you have, because I know you have all this information up there, but let's try and, stick to time. And then maybe we can catch whatever we miss at the end section in the question and answer session. But we're going to move on at this point to Dr. Akonde. He is Dr. Nariwaju Akonde. He's going to be speaking to us in the area of data analytics. Dr. Akonde, am I correct? Data analytics, data science, all these big things in the world? Yeah. Fantastic. Please take it away. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I assume everyone can hear me. It's always hard to. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you very much, everybody. Good afternoon. Happy to be here, for sure. It's always a good opportunity to speak to people about data science and so on, and things along that line. Statistics also, in terms of the opportunities that abound and how you can take advantage of them. Let me see. I think I should have permission to share my screen, so let me do that. Okay. Awesome. Can I please get some confirmation that everyone can actually see my screen? Awesome, thank you very much. So today we're talking about data science, and are you interested in it? If you are, what should you be looking to do? If you have no idea what it is, I'll speak very briefly about exactly what data science is. Trying to stick to time here, so I apologize in advance if I talk very fast. My background is, right now I'm an assistant professor at Duke University in the Social Science Research Institute, as well as the Department of Statistical Science. And I'm actually a primary faculty member in the Masters in Data Science program at Duke. And so for anyone who's watching this, who's interested in applying to that program, feel free to shoot me an email. I'm actually the co-chair of the admissions committee, so I have information I can share with you if you're interested. But without, let's get into it. So the first thing I want to touch on is, I've divided this up into different sections, and first just shed some light on what data science is. And to caveat beforehand, there's no way I will be able to fully give you every detail in such a short time, but I'm trying to basically provide you with the most important things to keep in mind. There's data everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Twitter collects gigabytes and terabytes of data every hour of every day. And so data science basically is the study of data in trying to understand the patterns that you can extract for any data set that you have. And data science actually plays an interesting role in terms of where it stands compared to traditional fields. So specifically computer science, mathematics and statistics, and then domain knowledge of exactly what the applications are. And I like this picture very much because right in between, you have that unicorn space, which essentially describes where you get to be as a data scientist. Is you have some programming knowledge, some computer science knowledge, you have some technical background in modeling, mathematics, some statistics, and you have some domain knowledge specific to your field. Forbes actually, a few years ago, actually called data science the sexiest job of the 21st century. It would be interesting to see if they still hold that view. But that kind of gives you an idea of how people view this. You say you're a data scientist right now, and it's a buzzword, everything goes off, people pay attention to you. And the primary focus is you get a data set, you're trying to visualize, you're trying to understand, you're trying to analyze, you're trying to find trends, and you're trying to find patterns, you're trying to manage data, store data, big data. There's so many facets of this. But the biggest thing, if you take nothing else away from this, is ultimately you're trying to create business insights. Essentially, you're trying to look at the data that people have and try to and tell them how to make money. This is how you're going to make money based on this. And how that comes, that can take different shapes and forms. If you look at a company like Amazon, you're basically telling them this is how you predict that someone would buy more things given what they bought in the past or what they've looked at. That's all data science stuff. Why should you care? Well, because this is only going to get bigger and bigger. Data continues to explode. The field of data science is very versatile, it's very flexible, meaning you can quickly pivot from, like I said, from working for companies like Facebook and Amazon and Twitter and so on, all the way to learning the COVID trends across the US, across different countries. So it's all about your own interest. There are many, 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 many job opportunities. You go online right now and you type in the word data scientist and it's going to pop up everywhere. It's on pretty much every top list of the best jobs of 2020. And so, of course, that means if you have a data science degree, or if you have data science skills, you're well positioned to get something. It's in demand, it's well paid for the most part, depending on the degree, depending on the experience that you have, of course. And again, just like what I started with at the beginning, there's an explosion. This is continuously growing. So there will always be, as long as, and this is a huge and important caveat, as long as you continue to evolve, you will be fine in the long run. Just to give you a snapshot, when I say data scientists are well paid, obviously, this is a snapshot of the data. This is not, this is not divided up by groups and by states and so on. And this is specifically for the US. So you can see just average pay for data scientists is somewhere in this range, and goes as low as 83K. But if you ask me, okay, what happens if I don't have any experience at all and I'm getting into this field for the first time? Then the average pay looks like, looks like this, with the overall distribution, the overall range going from $69,000 to $132,000. Again, there's a lot of flexibility and there are a lot of factors that we should keep into account, but essentially, the pay is, for the most part, it's pretty good. The other thing I will talk about at the very end is where this all connects to where we are in 2020. And I'm keeping an eye on time to make sure I don't go over. All right, so you're interested in data science. It's this huge thing. It's a buzzword. What should you do next? There are many paths for you to get there. The two top ones are, number one, self-development. So of course, I'm a part of the Masters in Data Science program. If you want to get more rigorous knowledge in a sort of structured environment, then maybe getting a degree in data science or something that's related to data science, like computer science or statistics, where you can then have a focus in data science would work. But also self-development, that means you have to do a ton of work yourself, and that's okay. We like to work. You have to continue to evolve as a person and as a professional. So you take online courses covering the technical computational skills. This means mathematics, statistics. You learn how to program in R, in Python, and so on and so forth. And then you will have to learn to apply those skills. So take on your own personal data science projects. This can be for fun, but at the end, the point being that when you go and you actually apply for a job, you're not only telling them, hey, I know the skills, you're also saying, actually, I have applied the skills to something, even if it's not to actually make a company money, but I've thought about this deeply enough that I know how to do it. If you give me an opportunity, which I believe I'm capable, I will be able to do the same thing for your company. And then this is really, really huge part right now in terms of the big data component. When you're taking online courses, you definitely want to keep an eye on all things cloud computing. I don't have any time to go into exactly what cloud computing is. Just think about scaling things when you can't really run it on your computer anymore, and you need to do stuff on the cloud, larger GPU. I don't want to go into technical terms, but if you have questions, I'm more than happy to take them. You can send me an email afterwards. And then the other part would be you can get a degree in data science. For most people, this would be a master's in data science, but also undergraduate programs. If you're an undergraduate and you're listening to this totally, PhD programs I feel differently about. First, because there aren't that many PhD programs in data science. Secondly, because you necessarily don't have to get a PhD in data science. You can get a PhD in something else and do your concentration in data science. Again, that's something else that I will touch on later on. So as I start to wrap up, if you're planning to apply specifically, apply for a master's in data science program, make sure that you have something that demonstrates that you can actually do quantitative stuff. If you have this is a master's, if you have a bachelor's in computer science or math or stats or some engineering, that often would work. Something to show us that you have, in fact, you're capable of doing this. Also, you can self-teach yourself, like I said before, so don't let it scare you at all. If you have a bachelor's degree in something that's totally not quantitative, that's okay. That means you may have to go online to Coursera and or data science websites and actually teach yourself how to do these things. You need to be able to express clearly what you want to do with data science. And for most programs, this is not saying that you know exactly what data science is, but rather that you have an idea of what you hope to do with it once you learn what data science actually is. And then if you have diversity of life experiences, you unique life experiences that will help your application totally, figure out a way to get that onto your application. If you have any professional research experience, that usually is a thumbs up. If you don't, that's okay. Again, if you try to do some project or something, talk to somebody who's doing data science projects and try to get involved. Show people that you're actually active in learning and in applying data science methods to data science applications. And then soft skills. This is connected to what everyone else has said so far. Leadership, teamwork, being able to collaborate with everyone else and being able to actually communicate. That will be very important. Very good GRE scores, but actually not so much for 2021. So which brings me to my final remarks. 2020, this is perhaps the biggest thing to take away from this. 2020 is a very different year. I remember in March when the virus got really big and everywhere shut down, people started to freak out for good reason. A lot of people have lost their jobs. If you are in that category, I 100% sympathize with you. But also at that very time, as that was going on, you had people taking a step back, thinking about, this is an opportunity. This is right now an opportunity. So to give you an example, I like to use the stock market as an example nowadays. This is something I'm interested in. At that time in March, where the entire economy was crashing and the stock market, everything was going down. You had people looking for, $200 or $300 or $400 to think about, all right, so what's going to excel over the next couple months? And to give you an idea, you have so many companies that their valuation have gone up 100%, 200%, 300%, 400%, 500% in the past couple of months. So the same thing applies here. Look at where we are right now, and it's going to take a while for us to get a vaccine in 2021. So look at where we are right now and think about how you can position yourself to take advantage of the opportunities in 2021. Data science is a very unique field in the sense that you can work remotely very easily, you can do your job from home very easily, and so the demand will only go up. It need not only be data science, something to really, really emphasize, but there should be something, and there are many things, many ways that you can take advantage of where we are in the world right now to perfectly, to put yourself in a great position heading into 2021. And then finally, if you have questions, all things data science, thinking about a graduate degree, please feel free to reach out for additional questions. And of course, Masters in Data Science program I do for anyone who's interested let me know. The website is right there. And that's it. Thank you very much to everyone. And thank you for listening.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Akonde. Thank you for all that information. Thank you for the insight. All right, please release the video so they can see my face. Oh, okay. Well, thank you again, Dr. Akonde. I could tell you, I'm telling you, I was writing down notes. That's why I didn't come back quickly to you guys. My head is like, I'm saturated with information right now. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to have all of this brilliance in our midst. I'm telling you, this is very valuable information that anyone can use. I think what I've learned even so far quickly is that, and I want to share this particularly with our young ones, when I say the young ones, even from our youth, teenagers going into the young adults, honestly, what have we learned today, even from the 3 speakers that have spoken so far? You have to be diligent. I want you to know that you own your brand. You see, you cannot be lazy about your brand. You have to sell yourself. You have to be your own advocate, right? You have to believe in yourself. Just like Ms. Adefuye said earlier, she said that you have to sell yourself to yourself first, and then sell yourself to everyone else around you. So you have to be very diligent about getting the information. Dr. Akonde has let us know that we have to be diligent about staying informed, right? That everything is on YouTube, everything is online. You can join some online forums so that you stay abreast of information in areas that you're interested in, and also do what you enjoy. So seek the areas that you enjoy, right? And stay diligent in information around that space. All right, next we're going to move on. Thank you so much. We're going to move on. Oh, and I should have let Mr. Oguntokun know this already, but Mr. Oguntokun, you're going to be going on next, and Mr. Oguntokun is going to be speaking to us around the area of IT and cybersecurity. IT and cybersecurity. I didn't get to read his bio earlier, so quickly bear with me. Benga Oguntokun is a database developer who specializes in various development environments. Currently, he's working with CoStar Incorporated as a senior developer, and also runs his own software development outfit, where he oversees all phases of the software development lifecycle. He completed his master's in business administration with emphasis on management of information system at Grand Canyon University, and that's in Phoenix, Arizona. So let us welcome the very brilliant Mr. Gbenga Oguntokun. Mr. Oguntokun, are you there for us? Yes, he is. I think I had him here. Okay, so it looks like he had to step away. It looks like he had to step away quickly. Sorry. So let me see who I have here with my panelist here. We just had him. Next I had someone that many of us may be very familiar with, very beloved in our midst. And this man, if I say he knows his craft, he knows his craft. He has been in the area of transportation and logistics for many, many years. This is going to be Mr. Deacon Vincent Onwainopo, who is, again, like I said earlier, the proprietor of Van Transportation and Logistics. He is going to be speaking to us about everything transportation and logistics for these times, and how we can excel in this area, how we can make money in this area, how we can build a profession or career in this area. Deacon Vincent Onwainopo, I present to you. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. I don't know if my video is on.
We can see you.
We can see you. Okay. So that was a very generous introduction, Mrs. Okonkwo. Anyway, I'm going to be talking to you. I'm going to be talking to you about logistics and transportation. You know, like she said, I've been in this field for a long time. You know, so I've been watching the trend, you know, lately, you know, post-COVID-19, pre-COVID-19. A little overview of this industry. This is a $1.6 trillion industry in the US as at 2019. It's very huge. You know, in this industry, you have the big guys, you have Amazon in there, you have UPS, you have FedEx, you have DHL, and all these guys, all these big guys. And the important thing, the good thing about it is that, you know, there is nothing you do today that does not involve transportation. There is absolutely nothing. And you know, recently I was just talking to my family. You know, every time I come back, somebody is dropping something, you know, at the door, and that's a huge thing. So the transportation and logistics are, you know, we mix them up, but you know, essentially there are two different aspects of the supply chain system. You know, um, and logistics is the movement. Logistics is the, I mean, transportation is the movement of goods, and logistics is the management of the inward and outward movement, and the inward and outward movement of goods. You know, in logistics is the science of planning, managing, and implementing the procedures and processes for most efficient and effective storage and transportation of goods and services from source point to end point, while transportation is the actual movement of the goods from manufacturing up to, you know, the end user's doorstep. Um, there are different aspects of, I'm going to talk specifically on transportation, you know, because that's my area. In transportation, you have different players in there. Like I said, you have the big guys, you know, and these big guys, you know, they use third-party, you know, vendors to make these deliveries to their destination. You know, if you go to like Walmart, you know, recently people started ordering stuff online, and you know, somebody has to deliver it to their doorstep. Now Walmart cannot do that, so Walmart is contracting, you know, a vendor who is contracting a third-party vendor who is going to take this into the customer's doorstep. So essentially, what we do in transportation, or what you, if you are looking for a job in the transportation industry, you know, first of all, if you don't want to worry about the licensing process of it, you attach yourself to, you know, to a vendor who has the capacity to, you know, have this licenses, because it's a long process. It's a long process. Um, um, okay, just give me 1 second, please. Just give me a second. Okay, so transportation is transportation. You know, transportation. Okay, transportation can be divided into three areas. You know, into three categories, and you know, the first category is the infrastructure category. That means you have to have the system set up, to be able to do this. And part of that infrastructure is warehousing, warehousing and the automation to to be able to move these goods effectively. So, and the other part of it is vehicles, different 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 sizes of goods or product demand different kinds of vehicles to deliver them. Sorry about that. I just my my presentation was just disappeared from. Buki, can you schedule me back later? Let me find this
You
thing.
can speak from your heart too. You know this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, can you schedule me? I mean, can I come back later, please?
Okay.
Okay, we'll go ahead and come back to you, Deacon Van. Thank you. I'm pretty sure you can see all of this even from your mind because you know this like the back of your hand, but we'll come back to you if that's if you prefer. I had started to introduce Mr. Gbenga Oguntokun earlier, and I think he's back. He was having some Zoom difficulties earlier, but he's back with us now. I wanted to quickly tell everyone, please share this video as we're live. As you can see, we're sharing a lot of important information that everyone can benefit from right now. So please share this with your family, your friends, your cousins, your college mates, your roommates. Bring everyone in, let everyone get this very important information for this time. How do we survive this COVID era? How do we go as winners into the next season of life, you see? So let's please share this with everyone. Mr. Gbenga Oguntokun, thank you so much for being with us. He's a database developer, like I said earlier, and I'm going to just turn it over to him without further ado. Let's please try and stick to time because we want to make sure we have enough time for question and answers. If you have any questions, start to drop them into the YouTube chat box. We're going to get to them later on after the next two speakers. Mr. Gbenga Oguntokun, we welcome you to the program. Go ahead, please.
All right. I hope everybody can hear me okay.
Yes, we can.
All right, cool. So first, I would like to apologize. I've been in and out of several meetings today. For me, it's deployment day, Saturday. And that's been why I've been going on and off the Zoom meeting. But I'm really, really happy to be involved in this career fair. This is one thing that I always advocated for. And I think is one thing that we need more of. So thanks a lot for allowing me to come and share a few this afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm not going to take a whole lot of your time. And all right, so what screen are we sharing here? Yeah, this one. So here we go. Hopefully everybody can see what's on the screen. My name is Olugbenga Oguntokun. I've been in the software gig for a while now. After all said and done, I'm a programmer, although I kind of wear a lot of hats. I've been called a database developer. I've been called a systems analyst. I've been called so many titles, but at heart, I'm actually a programmer. And I currently work in my day job as a senior database developer, because that's the aspect of information technology that really grabs my attention. But outside my job, I run an outfit where I cater to industries or businesses, small businesses that don't have an inflow into information systems. So we work with a whole lot of companies to be able to set them up in a way where they are utilizing information systems to improve their value. I'm also a technology enthusiast, and there's one thing that I picked up during these COVID times is exploring rocket science. Um, yeah, some people learn how to make sourdough bread. I'm learning how to make rockets, and it's pretty much because NASA has a very good curriculum, and this is my shameless plug for STEM, really. And I try to do that in any presentation that I have. NASA has a very good program for the K-12. Working with their curriculum, I'm able to help kids have increase their curiosity in STEM fields. And so I've picked this up, especially in these COVID times when I'm more in with my children. We've been able to see how we can, increase their curiosity in STEM programs. And if you're interested in this, you can go to nasa.gov/, it's STEM on station. Yeah, nasa.gov /STEM on station. You find a whole lot of things in there for that you can actually benefit from. And I also have multi-industry experience. I've worked with all sorts of industries in the IT field, except the government. I'm still trying to work with the government. And then finally, when I'm not doing all this, I'm a Chelsea fanatic. So if you support any other team in the EPL, we probably won't get along. I'm just kidding about that. I get along well with everybody. All right, so that's all about me. This is the point where I try to get to know the audience that I'm dealing with. And I have a small interactive survey that um, I've passed this out to one of the facilitators. And if you could just pass that link out, I'm going to start the presentation. I can put this on, I can also put the link for the survey up on Zoom chat, if that's easier. Okay, so there you go. And then I can go back to see here. All right, so I'm going to start up it's a brief survey. What it does, and I'm going to go full screen here. What this survey does really is to I just want to know, I want to gauge where your experience is, simply because today I've been tasked to talk about information technology and cybersecurity. So I'm just trying to gauge where your experience is. Now, note, your experience in amount of years does not necessarily indicate what you are capable of doing. I know this, but because this is science, we have to have discrete boundaries. So let's just go ahead and to the best of your knowledge, just fill this out and let's see what we get. We'll take about 2 minutes. There are 2 questions. We'll take about 2 minutes to see what we can get so that I can tailor this particular session to the population that we have. If you are looking into going into IT, or if you want to change your career, those are the people I want to fill out this this survey. All right, I think we have entries coming in already. And I'm not surprised about these entries. They pretty much, they pretty much follow what I was expecting. So we'll give about 10 more seconds and we'll go to the second question. And by the way, it might seem that I'm looking away. It's my setup this afternoon. My camera is way off on this side, and then my screen is way up on this side. I know it's kind of awkward, but we'll get through it. It's okay. All right, so let's go to the second question. Okay, so this second question is just when you think about information technology with what you know so far, you know, I know that the majority of people here have 0 to 1 year experience, which is fine. But when you think about the word information technology, what word comes to your mind? Really, like, what one word comes to your mind? It might be anything. Like, don't overthink this. Beautiful. You see, I begin to get entries, software, computer. That's beautiful. So just let me know one word that comes to your mind if you when you think about the word information technology. We'll give about another minute and before we close up this survey. And thanks a lot for everybody that is participating. I'm really grateful. So we have, yep, internet, computer, software. Computer seems to be what comes up to mind the most. So that's fine. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Computer still seems to be the one word that comes to mind the most, and followed by software. That is good. All right, I'm gonna put a timer, and we will wrap up this part of the presentation. Nice. Nice. This gives me an idea of the population that I have here. And again, thank you for taking time to answer this survey. So in about 20 seconds, we're going to close, and then we will go into the presentation proper, now that I know who I'm working with. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, so computer wins. And we have the majority of us here, we have 0 to 1 year experience, which means that we are fairly new, and that's a very beautiful place to begin. And we have some senior people here too, and I'm grateful that they are taking the time to fill out the survey. So, all right, let's go ahead and get back into the presentation proper. All right. All right. So again, today I've been tasked about talking about information technology and cybersecurity, but we're going to try to tell a story, right? Because everything is better when it's told as a story. So let's start with looking at information systems. Now, the key word here is systems, right? And as abstract as it seems the word sounds, I can wager that we have all interacted with a system today. Like, pretty much, if you are in this workshop and you are breathing, you are using your respiratory system, right? And that begins to turn on the idea of what a system is. You have various elements that are working together to subserve a particular task. And in the case of the respiratory system, you have oxygen being drawn into your lungs, and they go ahead and perfuse all your tissues. And the respiratory system is that system that subserves this function. So that's what a system is, right? And now when we talk about information system, we're talking about everything, all the elements in the information space of an organization, may be the people, the hardware, the software, the network, data resources, policies, procedures, everything that work together to subserve adding value to the information in an organization is what an information system is. All right. And based on what we have, what we've been able to highlight right now, it's an imperative that the business is able to bring out value using information system. Now, we come to the key term that we are actually working with, information technology. This is nothing but the technology that runs the system, right? The system that we have already identified previously. The information technology is systems technology, all right? So all the hardware, the software, the networking, the data management that is necessary to allow your system to achieve the function with which it's set up. That's information technology. All the technology that is used to help the business pull in as much value as it can is what is called information technology. And it's a lot. It's a lot of technology. It's the hardware, it's the software, it's the networking, it's your data. All right. So you can see that what you are trying to come into is a universe, is a wide expanse of terrain that if you don't actually know what you're doing, it's easy to get lost. But I think with what we have talked about so far, you are able to delineate what is what, like what an information system is and what the technologies running that system is. And then we have cybersecurity. Okay, so we've talked about information systems, we've talked about information technology, cybersecurity. It's no use if everything we've just talked about that helps the business to get value, it's no use if we leave it vulnerable. So cybersecurity is nothing but information technology security. All right. Everything that is put in place, the technologies, the processes, the people, the practices that protects our information technology from attack, damage, or unauthorized access. That's pretty much what what cybersecurity is. All right. So how does this pertain to you? Why should you bother? Right now, you should, because cybersecurity, in my opinion, is not an entry level. Um, it's not an entry level career. All right. And that's why I stepped us through information systems, through information technology before we got to cybersecurity, right? In order to be able to secure your technology, you need to know this technology, which is why I would always tell people that cybersecurity is not an entry level career. Now, that doesn't mean that you cannot work your way into cybersecurity. It only means that in order to succeed in information technology or cybersecurity, you need to actually know what the systems and the technologies that you're trying to secure. Okay, and in that sense, because most of us in this career fair are coming in with fresh, with zero background in this industry, it wouldn't serve us well if I just kept on going through cybersecurity, information technology, what it has to offer. But this is the point where now you have an overarching view of what information technology and cybersecurity is, right? Now you can now step back and think about it. What part of this do I actually want to be involved in, right? Like for me, I'm involved more in the data side of things. Now, that doesn't mean that I do not work with probably the front end side or the cybersecurity side, but it just means that my area of expertise is everything data related, right? And this is where you begin to think about how would your career, how do you want your career to progress? What do you want to do? Do you like taking things apart? You probably want to start from the hardware side of things or the networking side of things. Do you like thinking through problems? Do you like solving problems? Do you like making things happen? Right? That's where you begin to think about, oh, I might be suited in the software side of things, and then start from there and then be able to learn and work your way up to where you want to be. All right, so action items, and then I begin to round up. This is the part of the technology where you are involved, right? And we have, this cliche, you pretty much have heard about it. Do what you love and you never work a day in your life. It's true, really, because that's pretty much what will propel you to where you would like to be in the area of information technology. Be deliberate in everything you do, right? Try as much as possible to learn, because you are coming into a field that you don't know, so you need to learn. Don't fall for the hype. People will try to sell you classes. Don't get it wrong. I run classes myself. But really, you need to understand that you need to know that 6 months is not enough for you to become a proficient information technology specialist. So have that, make sure that your expectation is tailored to reality, right? Form alliances, get mentors, talk with your peers. Think about things that you can solve, right? Even if you're not going to be writing code, or you're not going to be writing programs. Think about things that you can solve and form alliances based on that. Now, time is very important. You are trying to come into a field, right, new. You don't have the opportunity to make this particular career your opportunity cost. So everything that is going to take your mind away from it, you need to actually take it off your plate so that you can actually put in everything you have to be able to learn how to become a proficient information technology specialist. And finally, you're signing up to become a lifelong learner. You wouldn't stop learning. If you're in the information technology world, you will never stop learning. So I think I'm going to wrap up with this, and I hope that I've been able to open your horizon, like to be able to see what is available to you in information technology or cybersecurity, if that's what you choose. I am available, right, to answer any questions, or if you need to contact me in any form, I'm sure one of the facilitators will be able to pass my information across. Again, thank you for making me be part of this particular workshop. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mr. Oguntokun, thank you. I really want to thank all our panelists today. They came with so much information, and you can imagine that it's very difficult to have them consolidate all of this into 10 minutes or even 15 minutes, So I really appreciate you trying to share as much information with the audience within this short period of time. We have one more person who has been waiting also very patiently. It's Dr. Olaleye. He's in the area of healthcare and biotechnology. He also has about 10 to 15 minutes to cover as much as he can. in this area, because we want to leave room for a quick question and answer session at the end. We appreciate your patience, everyone. We'll quickly turn it over to Dr. Laleye without wasting more time. Thank you. Dr. Laleye, please go ahead.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Thank you.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
We can, yes.
And the slide as well, right?
We can see it, sir.
Oh, great. So, good afternoon. Let me use this time to thank the organizer. I also want to thank all the speakers that have spoken before me. Thank you for sharing your insight. And also want to thank the audience for your time. I've been asked to speak on the job opportunities available in biotech and in the healthcare sector. And also, what are the prospects of getting a job in this area? First, let me say there is no better time to be in healthcare or biotechnology profession than during this period. We've all seen what the COVID-19 pandemic, but one of the other things it has done is to identify growth job areas and also job prospect outlook for those working in healthcare and for those who are interested in working in this field. And these jobs are going to be there for many years to come. But first, for those that may not be familiar with this term, so what exactly is a biotechnology job? And as you can see from the screen, it cuts across so many disciplines, from biotech to biopharmaceuticals to drug discovery to vaccines to medical diagnostics, as well as food safety. So it's an interdisciplinary branch of science that provides great opportunity for those who are interested in exploring and learning new and modern frontiers of science. Because it cuts across so many industries, professionals can choose to work in different organizations, ranging from government agencies to private companies to startups, or even to big global pharmaceutical companies, as well as government agencies such as the National Institute of Health. The good news is that the industry is a major economic driver for the country because it's generating approximately $140 billion in revenue, and it currently employs over 1.66 million people. So the demand for skilled professionals in this industry is going to continue to rise. So what are the type of jobs, or what's the outlook look like in this area? As you can see, just to kind of give you a quick fact, and I'm going to just narrow the fact to a couple of important areas in this field that actually gaining attraction in the market, from biomedical engineers to medical scientists to lab technologists. And you can see from the slide, you can see what the median pay looked like as of last year, and what a typical entry-level education that each one requires. If you are looking to be a biomedical engineer, the minimum requirement is a bachelor's degree. And if interest is being a clinical laboratory technologist, then you also need a bachelor's as well. And if you are interested in being a medical scientist, you need a post-bachelor degree, a doctoral, a master's. If you look at the number of jobs that are projected in this area, you can see that it goes from 5% to 7%. And it's a good area to be, like I mentioned, because of what we are currently going on. I also want to mention some of the emerging areas that are coming up in the biotechnology sector. And one of the speakers gave an adequate, eloquent speech on the role of data scientists. Now we are actually seeing data scientists coming into this area because they want to apply their knowledge of analyzing big data to the massive amount of information that are being generated from medical devices, from lab test kits that are coming from the laboratories in this area. Then we're also seeing even medical doctors who are specialized in gene therapy, personalized medicine, trying to work with biomedical engineers in trying to come up with devices that the country needs, especially with what is going on in this COVID-19 era.
Dr. Olaleye.
Yes?
I don't think the slides are changing as you're going along. We're still on slide 1.
Oh, okay. Give me a second. Let me, I must be sharing this now.
Fantastic. It changed now. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's see. You should be looking at the biotechnology job outlook, right?
Yes, correct now. Yes, thank you.
I'm so sorry about that. Now, so the other important thing again is that the area of specialty that you choose to work in biotechnology matters, and the year of experience, as well as the type of employer that you choose to work for, can greatly determine the salary or the remuneration that you're going to get. And as you can see, the top tier pretty much fall into people that are interested in doing research. And of course, the more years of experience that you have, the better compensation that you are going to get. And most people that actually work for private companies tend to get the most pay. So the same thing is true when we also look at the healthcare job market. Again, you could choose to stay in the traditional role of a nurse, which is in great demand at this point, or you could also go into some of the para-healthcare professions like dental hygienist, or become a licensed practical vocational nurse, as well as being a medical assistant. And the reason why because that, again, depending on your degree, there is an opportunity to also become a doctor, but I choose to kind of focus on some of these professions that can quickly get into the job market if you want to quickly get into this field. So for a registered nurse, you need a bachelor's degree, and for a dental hygienist, you need associate degree as the minimum amount of education. And okay, if we look at the job outlook, for the next 10 years, there's going to be an upward growth, especially for the need for medical assistance. The projected outlook is about 19%, and it's going to remain in that figure given the current situation that we are in. But there are some also important jobs that I want to highlight in the area of healthcare, which is physician assistants. For those that might not want to spend a lot of time going to medical school, you could just, if you have your bachelor's with 2 years of post, you could become a physician assistant, or you could also choose to enroll and study to become a surgical technologist. Now, what are the job skills that you as someone who is looking to get in this area needs to have? And because of time, I'm quickly going to just show this. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because this has been highlighted by the speakers that spoke ahead of me. But the important thing again is what I call the hard skills, which is 70% experience, 20% exposure, and 10% education. Yeah, we know that education is important, but experience matter because it's tied to the compensation, it's tied to the remuneration that that job will give you. The other important thing again is what I call the soft skills, and this was mentioned by one of the speakers. And the reason why employers are paying so much attention now, it's because of the fact that it's not just your education, which is important, but your ability to communicate, your ability to work with other people, your ability to be able to think right away when a question is thrown at you, and the ability for you to be able to be creative and just think out of the box. And these are the kind of questions that you'll be thrown at when you present yourself for an interview. They are going to, because they've already seen that you are qualified by the basis of your education. It's really, what else can I get from you if I bring you on board? And those are the areas where your soft skills become so essential, become so important. And also, I cannot overemphasize the importance of networking. And the reason why that is important, again, is that most of these jobs, really, you get additional information about them by people that are already working in this profession. And through networking, they can share some insights, some of them that you might not be able to kind of find reading a book or even online because they work there. They will tell you what are the things that you need to know if you are presented with an opportunity to get an interview, either to work as a biomedical engineer, for example. There are some set of skills that are not taught in graduate school that you need to know, and people who have chosen to work in this field, they will be glad to share that with you. The importance of going to conference, like I mentioned, is really important. The other thing I want to talk about is the volunteer. And I just like what the last speaker said when he was talking about STEM. And that's so crucial because even if you don't have experience in that profession, but you can spend time at least volunteering at middle or high school, teaching some of these kids the importance of STEM, those become part of your experience. This becomes part of the things that you can put on your resume. And because so many companies now are spending a lot of money trying to promote STEM, especially in North Carolina, they look at that. They actually value that, and they see that as someone that is actually devoting their time to help educate, to help transmit knowledge. And they count that as very, very important. And the same thing with, again, job search. That will also help to let you know what are the opportunities out there that I can take advantage of. So, but what are the training biotechnology and healthcare jobs out there? I mentioned healthcare and I mentioned the biotech. In the area of biotechnology, biomedical engineers and biomedical technicians. And you can actually see that if I can use the COVID-19 as an example, just imagine that a country as big as the United States were running out of test kits. Who make test kits? The biotechs. And it's not as if we don't have the capacity, but it's just that some of them, they have been outsourced abroad and are being imported back into the country. But imagine if we are the one making them down here. So most of the companies right now are now shifting that emphasis back to the country, whereby they're now beginning to make this test kits. So there is an urgent need to employ biomedical engineers, biomedical technicians, even medical scientists that are doing research to see how these test kits can work and generate true positives as opposed to false positives that often are problems when you use these kits to test for COVID, for example. And the same true with healthcare. We know that in healthcare now, they are looking for nurses because of the increase in positivity rate in COVID. And it's not just the hospitals, even the pharmaceutical companies, because they're now doing a lot of trials, they need nurses who can act as clinical research clinical research fellows to help administer case reports that will be used in clinical trials. And the same thing is true for app developers, because now that we are in the age of being able to track those that have been infected, they are looking for software developers that can develop apps for contact tracing, which again, it was not a problem last year. The emergence of this disease has brought the need. So there's a collaboration between the hospitals and the biotech companies to look for ways of generating better apps that can do this type of analysis. And of course, I cannot overemphasize the importance of the medical assistants, because especially for those that may not be able to make it to the hospital, some of them are still being treated at home. They need home health aides that will be able to go to these houses and provide care for these elderly folks. So who are the companies hiring now in the area of biotech and the area of healthcare? In biotechnology, again, countries like Amgen, which operate both as a pharmaceutical and as a biotech, they are looking for biomedical engineers, and they're also looking for people with research experience. And you can actually see the list here. And I didn't list the government agencies because those ones, they are always in need. But these are the ones that if you do a search right now, you'll see a lot of them looking for biomedical engineers, looking for people that can help fill the vacuum that the present crisis has created. And the same thing is true when it comes to healthcare. VA, for example, has a lot of open spots for COVID-19 nurses, because especially now that a lot of folks are very afraid, let me put it that way. And the same is true for the pharmaceuticals, because a lot of them are in a race to come up with vaccines, to come up with drugs. So they need people with research experience, with nursing experience that they can employ to be able to facilitate the conduct of these clinical trials. Again, because I don't want to run away my time, the reason why I show this again is just to let you know that these are folks like you and me, just that look like you and me. But again, they traveled. Not only that, they also were presented with opportunities that we're talking about here, and they were able to take advantage of that. And I just so much love all of their stories, because I'm always interested in reading this. And in fact, if you look at the guy from Nigeria, this guy was a guy living in a one-room apartment in Agege that came to the United States. Now he's an assistant medical director at Beth Israel Dickness Medical Center. And the reason why that's important again is that there's no limit to where you can aspire to. It's just a matter of where you can put your mind. If you are interested in getting into this area, the opportunities are there. It's just a matter of, do I want to take advantage of these opportunities? So I'm going to stop in here, and I'm going to make myself available for questions, because I don't want to go over the time that is allotted to me.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Dr. Olaleye. This has been fantastic, very informational, very, very, very. I love how you ended it with the pictures. You see, pictures, it says they speak 1,000 words, right? So as we're seeing you, as we're seeing these people who have made it in their profession, how you ended with that last slide, man, it's like the sky's the limit, isn't it, for anyone who's watching? It's just how much time, how much dedication do you have? to follow your dreams. I'm going to turn it on over now to our question and answer session. Thanks again to all of our panelists who have spoken today. It looks like we're going to need a little bit more of your time as we go into the Q&A session, which Dr. Toyin Tofade is going to be moderating. I turn it over to you. If you don't have your questions yet, please post them onto the YouTube chat box so that we can get to them quickly before our panelists have to leave. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Moderator. Excellent session. I agree with you 100% for all our speakers. Let's give them a cyber applause. Excellent presentations. It does inspire you, doesn't it, to want to be a part of this. Hopefully you can hear me okay. And yes, we do have questions. We do have questions, and I'm going to just go ahead and start. And I believe the first question actually came for Dr. Akande from Duke University. And the question was, supposing somebody applies and they have the qualifications, but they don't really have experience, how might you advise the individual if they were interested in a career in data science? If you would be so kind to unmute your microphone, and that would be fantastic to hear that. And as he's preparing for that question, there's another question here actually that also addresses, I think, Benga. And it is specific to, and probably also Dr. Akande, it is specific to what is the difference between data science and clinical informatics? So whoever can unmute their microphone quickly, we will have you on the air.
Dr. Akande, are you able to unmute yourself? Can the host please?
All right, I think the host is going to unmute you so you can speak. We're looking forward to hearing that, hearing the answer to that question. All right, as we're sorting out the technological issues there, I do have a few questions here, particularly for Mr. Van. So Mr. Van, if we wanted to hire somebody for logistics, you will need to unmute your phone just to be ready for the answer. If we wanted to hire somebody for logistics, we would like to know how, some people think, oh, you just get in your car and you drive and that's it. But I know it's more complex than that. So say you were thinking about, say we're Walmart and we wanted to hire your company, Van Incorporated, to take care of some specific sourcing details that go eventually to the end user. Can you walk us through that, please? What that's going to entail as far as you convincing me, big Walmart, that you are the right company for this, so that for some people who want to go into that business, they can think about the background details that go into that. Is Mr. Van ready?
Yeah, okay. So can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. So there are different entry points into this business. You know, you can either be the logistics company, or you can be the third party guy or independent contractor. Okay. So let's take Walmart, for instance. You want to do business with Walmart. They are going to have some requirements that you have to meet first. You know, first of all, let me use Amazon, which is more current. You know, you see people driving Amazon vans. What Amazon has done, they have a program, they call it Flex, or they call it Flex or Prime. What they have done is this: they give you, I don't know if that's a loan, if that's a loan or something, but you have to have certain amount of money. Like, okay, Amazon will tell you have to have 30,000 available. You have to have $30,000 available, and then you have to have so number of vehicles. They will give you the specification of the vehicles that you have to have available for you to contract with them. What they are telling you essentially is, what you are doing essentially is you are buying a franchise from them. You know, they will give you a license to be their distributor or their delivery company. Now you're going to have overhead costs, which you are going to they will provide you the business. Say in Holly Springs, all of Holly Springs will want you to take care of it. They will give you the um, they will give you the sorry they will give you the business there, but they are going to set parameters for you that you have to work in. You have to have the vehicle, you have to have social number of people who are going to be driving, and you have to sign a contract with them that these things, because most of these deliveries are time sensitive, they work on time. Somebody buys something and they want it by 1 o'clock, it has to be there by 1 o'clock. So you have to meet those requirements. Or you can become the independent contractor who is subcontracting from the guy that is subcontracting from Amazon.
Got it.
This way, it depends on who the main contractor is. If he wants you to bring your own vehicle, then it will tell you the kind of vehicle you have to bring.
Got it.
Different in different areas of this transportation need different vehicle specifications. You can do some in a car, you can do some in a minivan. Some of them they will require to have a cargo van. Some of them they will require to have a big truck. So it depends on what that corporation, their logistic procedure or processes that they have set up already.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what it will take. The corporation will tell you what we need, and then if you're able to fulfill those requirements, then you can come in.
Well, that's very helpful. So it means we have to do our own research, right, to find out the details and then make sure that we can meet those specifications before we go in. And I'm really glad that you're sharing this information, because one of the things that prior speaker, Oyade, said is that you need a mentor, right? Mentors are critical in being successful in any business, in any career. And so I encourage you, if you are on the call, ask yourself the question, do I have a mentor? But, don't just stick with one mentor. You need several mentors to be successful in your career. Let me tell you that. I remember I was taught when I was in college that in my professional school that you probably need at least about 6 to 8 mentors, because one mentor may not know everything you need to know, right? One mentor may be specific on this aspect of the career you're interested in. Another mentor might be a specialist in the B part of that exact career. So make sure that you have mentors that can speak into your life, so you are never, at a loss for information that can propel you forward. I have this question here. I understand Dr. Akonde is available. If you would be so kind, sir, to unmute your microphone and be prepared to answer this question. And it says, if you do not have experience, but you have qualifications and you're interested in the data science field, what advice might you have for such a person? And if you could lump together also what the difference is between clinical informatics, particularly for somebody who might have a medical degree already, and data science.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I had technological issues here I was trying to figure out. So to the first question, I think honestly that it depends. So as I said during the presentation, right now you can go the route where you go get a data science degree, or you can sort of self-teach yourself a lot of these skills. And so it's going to depend. If you don't have that background and you're trying to get into a graduate degree to do data science, then the question definitely becomes, which program are you applying to? So for example, at Duke, we really focus on what each individual wants to do with data science rather than their background. We're going to teach you we're going to teach you the skills that you need. So it's really about, do you have something that you would like to do with data science? So I know that's not a very as specific an answer as people would like, but it's really honestly on a case by case basis. It's figuring out exactly what are you lacking, what do you think you're lacking, and if you don't know that, that's fine. You talk to somebody who's actually in the data science field to get a sense. Let them know what you are trying to achieve, what you're trying to get to, and then they can help you figure out what you need to do to get there. And to the second question on clinical informatics and generally data science, I think the huge thing is just the clinical informatics, it's very specific, right? So if you say that you're going into data science, the skills that you're going to be learning will be, broadly speaking, general. Of course, you have an underlying application or something that you're hoping to do. I think there was also a question around, which areas right now are sort of the biggest ones for data science and so on. You obviously have recommender systems for tech companies like the Googles and the Amazons and the Facebook and so on, the Netflix. But on the other end, you have healthcare, and that actually there's a very great space for that right now, given where we are with infections and COVID and so on. But somewhere in the middle of that, you have marketing, you have things like that to keep an eye on. So again, really case by case basis. To that second question on clinical informatics, it's really about the specifics. Here, you're specifically dealing with data science tools, but strictly for all things clinical trials and clinical data.
Thank you so much. Dr. Lalaya, would you be so kind to help us in terms of what kind of combinations have you seen in the biotech area with data science specifically? And would you be so kind to share what kinds of combos with a medical degree, for example, might be out there?
Well, again, I'm just going to kind of follow the last speaker. The one thing with data science, it's becoming more like demography, which I studied at the beginning, because it cuts into different areas of different professions. Because we now live in the world of large data. And again, when you look at medicine or even healthcare in general, where we deal with large observational research databases, we need a way to be able to analyze information going into this database. And again, when we talk of information now, we're not even talking of just structured data, meaning like height, weight. We are also talking of clinical notes that are textual. We are talking of images. We are talking of mammograms, which are pictures that need to be transcribed into numbers. So when you merge all this together, that's where the importance of a data scientist comes in. But the good thing again is that we're actually even seeing a lot of doctors. Some of them I work with because of what I do, and they actually living, well, they're not living their practice. They still send about 10 or 20 pieces, but they're so much interested in research now because they now see the value of the amount of data being generated daily, and they need to be able to synthesize and gather insights from this amount of information that we're getting. We're getting. So it's a great field to be. And it's, again, like I said, it's not just limited to healthcare. And that's why I'm just so passionate with what the last speaker said, because it's an opportunity for anyone that have love for data,
Yes.
and it's a field that will continue to grow.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. As we get Mr. Benga ready for this question on what are some potential areas of need that have arisen by reason of the pandemic. I know you told us that cybersecurity is not an entry-level profession, but if you could start getting ready for that question. But in the meantime, I woade like to ask Onyade this question. So here is one that says, I've seen where someone else took your ideas and because you shared them and they made it their own. So does sharing your ideas with others make you a team player? What advice do you have for this participant?
I think that it's very important to be careful, right? You use discernment in everything that you do. I do not think that a person who steals your idea will be able to communicate that idea in the way that you, who was given that idea, who had that idea, would be able to communicate it. So in situations like that, I do think that whoever is stealing an idea is doing themselves a disservice. So when things like that happen, you still need to maintain your composure, but there are ways where you can still present the same idea where other people can tell that this is the person who is knowledgeable about this on this topic, and you will be able to, because it's one thing, again, you have to be very careful. If somebody is actually given the idea, somebody actually knows about it, has put in the work to get the idea, and somebody else is stealing it, there's no way, you're an imitation, so there's no way you're going to present it in the same way as the person who was originally given that idea and who put in the work to put that thing together, that package together. So I think that you just need to have a good attitude, because sometimes if you go in and you're trying to fight, that will not look good on you. So people might step away from the fact that, this was your idea, and now start focusing on why is she acting like that? Why is he acting like that? So there are ways that you can still present the same idea, but still maintain a good attitude, not be combative about it, not be upset about it, but, show that, this was my idea and still present it. So I think just maintaining a good attitude, maintain your composure, but still present the same idea. And I think it'll be very clear who is knowledgeable about that topic.
Good. So a combination of knowledge, attitude, and self-control and good old emotional intelligence is necessary. Fantastic. Now, I don't know if Mr. Benga is ready, if his mic is ready to speak. If you could let me know. If not, I'm going to go on to the next question here. There's a question here for, I think it's you.
Transitory, he's here. Mr. Oguntoko's
Okay.
here.
If he's able to speak, that would be fantastic, so that I know he can.
Can I have the question?
Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you.
Mr. Benga?
Yes.
Good. What are some potential areas of need that have arisen since the pandemic has come up, in your opinion?
From perspective of an information technology specialist, I think with more companies embracing remote work, I think a lot of opportunity has arisen in the information system space. So I would always tell people that information technology is a support industry, which means that if you look at your organizational hierarchy, you will see that your information technology organization in your company or in the company you're joining spans across the whole industry. Spans across the whole organization. So in a way, the first thing that you need to do is, what are your passions really? Like, what would you like to do? Do you like working with components, or do you like solving problems? I mean, even if you work with components, also, if you work with the hardware side of things, it's still solving problem. But are you a physical type of person that would like to, take things apart and try to put them together, understanding how they work? Or do you like to look at a process and be able to use your skills to support that process from design all the way to when you get a physical product? So it depends on you looking at what you want to do. Then once you are able to identify your own area of strength, then look at the entry level opportunities, which I believe there are many. And the reason is, right now, companies are seeing that they can actually get the same value outside of the office settings that they can. So even if you're going into things like internships, unpaid internships, right, to just get your leg into that process, and also learning what you have identified for yourself as your strength. Learn, network, connect with mentors, as everybody has said here, and be able to, do push your envelope yourself. Like, make sure that you are doing the best to invest in yourself in that area of education. And it also, it's not just looking for a job. Information technology is so dynamic that looking for a job is actually shortchanging yourself. Because in information technology, you can think of a process, you can think of, especially in software development, you can think of a product, build the product, sell the product. So the looking for a job aspect is one part of it, but your entrepreneurial abilities is a major part of the equation.
Thank you so much, sir. So you mentioned that there are several entry-level positions. Would you be so kind to assist our viewing audience on what specific titles they could look for that would constitute entry-level, so that as they begin to train for said entry-level positions, they know what to research?
Absolutely. In software development, you could come in as a full stack developer. A full stack developer means that you know a lot about the front end of the software you're supporting, a little bit of the middle tier, and a little bit of the back end, which means that you can run a project from beginning to the end all by yourself. You are not a specialist, you are a generalist, right? So you could look for positions like full stack developer. You could look for, just do a Google search on entry. If you are interested in software, a full stack developer is where you would want to start from. If you are interested in hardware or networking, just do an entry level Google search for system analyst or a system engineer. LinkedIn is also a very good place. LinkedIn will categorize what type of experience that job you're looking for is.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. It looks like we have run out of time. And I see there was another question about, are there entry-level positions in data technology or data research? I suspect that Dr. Akonde or Dr. Olaleye might be able to assist us with that. If your microphone is ready, that would be fantastic.
Yes, totally. If I can go first, there are multiple entry level positions. In terms of, I think it depends on the skill set that you have right now. So, for example, if you are already leaning towards more software programming and so on, you actually may want to start by searching for data engineering, as opposed to maybe data science itself. But even if you just search on LinkedIn is a great space. Indeed.com is a fantastic place that you can look at. And then you can filter by the level of experience or the skills. But I think very related to what I think it was Onyade talked about earlier, even if the years of experience are required are more than what you have, don't be scared to take a shot at it. Like, what do you have to lose anyway? But do make sure that you have something, you know how to program, or you've done some modeling, you know how to do some machine learning, something, and then you can look for a job that ties nicely to that. But yes, there are many entry-level positions for sure.
Yeah, and
excellent.
Yeah, and I can add to that, and this is actually one of the things I mentor some of the students that I at UNC and UNCC, especially the African American students. We don't take advantage of the internship position that many of these companies offer. And some of them, they don't get advertised. You have to really go into the specific website of these companies. And a lot of them, they are year round, meaning that even if you're in high school, you could get an internship position where you are assigned to a mentor that can mentor you. And then if you are in college waiting to graduate, you have not graduated. I mean, SAS, for example, has a lot of what we call internship and what we call academies. So the goal here really is to be able to kind of get these students into the workforce before they graduate, see what they can bring to the table, and offer them employment before they start employing, before they start looking for jobs outside, because they are being trained and they are being prepared to kind of excel in what they are doing. The other important thing I also want to mention, especially for those who might want to change careers and go into data technology or even software development. And even though I don't want to use my daughter as an example in here, really, that she studied art and sciences. And she loved, but the job was not there. And she did 6 months of intensive full stack development. And right there, she had 3 offers while she was being trained for someone with no technology, with no programming experience, but with commitment. So she was able to understand. So the point there is your passion.
Yes.
Where do I want my passion to take me? What am I dreaming about? I want to kind of put all that effort, all that commitment into that. To me, I always say the sky is the limit.
Fantastic.
The sky is the limit.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And we're going to leave it right there. And I'm really excited by all the speakers who have shared a lot of things. The sky is the limit. It starts with who you are and what your purpose is and what your dream is. And that needs to be put in writing by way of your CV. What does your CV look like? And that has been said today already. Remember, the CV gets you in the door for interview, and the interview gets you an opportunity to land the job. If you're not getting interviews, you might want to start asking questions about what is my CV communicating? So find a mentor, find somebody who cares about you enough to be able to review your CV so that it's strong, it's solid, and can land you several interviews. As you prep for your interview, remember, attitude is important. Pastor VC, Dr. Tofadi already talked to us about that. And then lifelong learning. Benga mentioned that. Lifelong learning, no matter what it is, you have to keep educating yourself and be able to pivot, like Dr. Olalia was telling us. And then do your research. Yeah. We've heard that also from Dr. Akonde, right? That you have to search and see what exactly fits what it is that the portfolio that you're hoping to get. And then Oyande mentioned it really nicely that you need a mentor, you need a sponsor. In some other fields, they call it an advocate. But let me tell you one thing, that the God factor is critical. We will be remiss if we don't tell you that. For several of us who are on the call, myself definitely, if not for the God factor, I would not be where I am today. So make sure that you're nicely intimate with God and you're prayed up in all the journey from beginning to the very end. We also learned a lot about logistics from Mr. Van, and we're grateful for that. So I encourage you to reach out to these individuals, as they share their contact information, and find a mentor. Make sure you have several so that you can get on your way. And think about the characteristics that will keep you in your job. I say that if you're looking for a promotion during this time, I want you to know that how you are, how you show up at work matters a lot. What does your supervisor think about you? If you're in an interview, we'll close with this and turn it over to the other moderators. Some of the things you need to keep in mind for general techniques and approaches in the interview. Don't just walk up with a nice suit and think you're going to nail it. You have to prepare. I remember sitting down here with my son and we were prepping for a couple of hours. It takes time to prepare for an interview. You have to know the questions, you have to know how to answer the questions, and you have to think about the stories and examples that you need to include during the interviewing so that you can come up as a very strong candidate. Make sure you're using the STAR technique, STAR. You can look it up, you can search it, you can Google it, be able to describe the situation. Don't just memorize answers because somebody told you I said this and they hired me. That's not going to work. Make sure you have a situation from which you can share an example, a skill that you have had, the action that you employed, and the result. I want to thank you for your time today, and I'm going to turn it over to the moderator, and we wish you Godspeed in your journey through jobs. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tony. Thank you for your time. And today as well, we're going to wrap up at 2:30 for sure. So I'm going to turn it over to Pastor BC to close out the event for the day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, all over, wherever you are, watched us today. I really want to say thank you. I want to thank all our panelists first for your time. We do not take it lightly for spending this time with us. We really thank you. I believe that what you have done today is going to help several lives. These materials are already on the YouTube. They're going to be there for a long time. So there will be people who visit the space. We're going to share with people, friends, and families across the states and across the ocean. I believe that the impact that this presentation will make, we cannot even fathom at this time. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. We appreciate the moderator. We thank you for the planners, everyone that took time to stay to the end of this program. We are so excited that we could bring this to your houses, to your places, wherever you are. And we are hoping to have some testimonies coming out of these, that it may be hard, it may be tough, but by the grace of God, we will stay on top of it. If we may close with prayer, because we are organized by church, Jubilee Christian Church International. We want to pray with you, want to pray for you. We know prayer helps. So if you're looking for a job, you're trying to change your position, you are trying to move forward in something, let's pray together as we close. Father, we thank you in Jesus' name for everyone who had listened. Thank you, Lord, for those who believe in you for jobs, those who have lost jobs and trusting you for new ones. Father, we just pray that all these resources that have been shared today, oh Lord God Almighty, will find them useful and they'll find them beneficial, even to that next level, next stage, next step of their lives. We ask, oh God, for favor for those who are sitting for interviews, for those who are applying. We pray for unusual favor from the Lord, that these jobs will come to you. Father, we pray for all our presenters today, that you'll continue to strengthen them, support them, encourage them. And we thank you. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Thank you very much. We love you all. Thank you, everyone watching from all over. God bless you. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye now.